Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Welcome to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast with James Wilson and Rob Eickhoff.
Semi-seconds in automatic minutes, finishing to diminish the position that was given risen.
Boom. Back. So, episode 35?
Episode 35 of the
Awesome.
Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast. You know, I was thinking about this on the drive over here today. We call this the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast. I think in like the last 5 episodes, have we talked at all about jiu-jitsu?
We've said the words a few times.
We have said the words a few times. It gets thrown
We've tied
in there.
a few things back. Because remember, one of the themes of the podcast is how, really a lot of this shit we run through the jiu-jitsu filter. So even if we're not talking about jiu-jitsu, we're still talking about jiu-jitsu.
You're right.
Because a lot of the shit, it ties back. But no, I know what you mean. Because jiu-jitsu's fun, but there's a lot of other things.
And I think about jiu-jitsu all the time.
All the time.
And like you said, jiu-jitsu itself, like I run stuff through that filter, or it helps me make decisions, or teaches me lessons. And so, even if I don't talk about it, it's a staple in my life. It's there.
Yeah.
So even though we don't talk about it necessarily all the time, it's
paradigm.
influenced.
My paradigm's still looking through it. I know I was at that the Telluride Venture Accelerator thing, and I was sitting through a session on cap tables and term sheets for when you're trying to raise money. And I had this lawyer dude, he was going through it, and it's like a video conference too, right? So he's not even like in the room. And he's like droning on and on. So it's like listening to a boring professor drone on about like material that you don't like. And dude, I'm struggling. I haven't felt like that in so long. Like I just wanted to get up and walk out of the room. I'm like, why the fuck am I sitting here wasting my life listening to this shit? And then I'm like, all right. This is like when Kevin shows me something and I'm like, all right, I don't understand that shit, but I know the next time I see it, it'll make a little more sense. So like that's literally like how I got myself to not fall asleep or kept myself sane. Really is what it was running through that jiu-jitsu filter and going like, all right, maybe I'll need to know this later on down the line. And when I'm talking to the lawyer dude, it won't be the first time in the world that I've heard these terms. So, but yeah, I turned everything cap tables and term sheets as fucking jiu-jitsu filters. So
that's pretty funny.
Take that.
I'll have to try that next time they're fucking. I'm getting in trouble at work about not doing paperwork properly, and it's over some like ridiculous, mundane thing that is just completely fucking absurd.
Yeah.
It does not have any bearing on actually getting the job done.
It's your TPS report, bro.
Yeah, it's your TPS report. When I work for a huge corporation, so there's a lot of TPS report pushing going around. A lot. Because it's basically like there's people's jobs that are solely revolve around these bullshit TPS reports that have no fucking bearing. But the corporation is so goddamn big, like they're ensconced. Like that's what they do. And they'll be talking about something or doing this and that, and I just want to fucking bounce my head off the wall, man, off the table. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, your job is so bullshit. Like, you have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, oh yeah.
I don't know. Gotta find something.
Gotta find some sort of jiu-jitsu filter to run it through.
Yeah.
Besides just wanting to strangle them.
It's like takedowns, right? Like, I'm an old man. I don't like getting fucking thrown. So, but finally I'm like, hey, I like to ride mountain bikes. And I need to be conditioned to take a fall. But you know what really sucks? Falling on my mountain bike. That's not a good way to practice falling.
No.
So, so now doing takedowns is like conditioning my body for falling, which helps me with my mountain biking and life in general. So now I don't mind it quite as much. Whereas before, I gotta be honest, when we'd get in one of those classes, because our coach Kevin, man, he takedowns and stand up is definitely part of our curriculum.
I like takedowns.
I like it. I'm not complaining. It's not a
it.
complaint. I'm just saying, like, there are some schools where it's not,
right.
But we definitely have a takedown, stand up part of the program for sure. And sometimes we'll spend a class. It's like I joke around. I'm like, man, I went to a jiu-jitsu class and a judo class broke out, you know? And, but yeah, like it's I have to admit, like when we were doing that when I was early on, like the first couple years of doing it, it was like, God damn it, man, I'm like 40 years old and, you know, it doesn't, you know, like you get somebody who doesn't throw you right, like there's some, you know, but then it's like, turn your mindset, you find the right way to look at it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is good. And now I joke around and I'm like, man, like I freaking somehow I know these takedowns. Somehow I know things, you know. You just
I would have to like takedowns or it's one of those things like once you hit a really good, you know you hit it. Like they didn't give it to you. You set it up. You hit a fucking sweet single or a double or whatever. Nice throw.
Yeah.
Good fireman's. Like you hit us once you do it once. Dude, you're chasing that fucking high all the time. Like it's fun, dude. I really like. I love the takedown portion of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Now, I get super frustrated when I'm standing up with somebody. We're doing takedowns, and all of a sudden they pull guard, and I'm like, "You motherfucker! You just ruined half my fun.
Half your fun.
God damn it!
Yep.
Now I gotta fucking deal with this."
Yeah.
It always takes me a minute to shift, like to get out of anger mode, like and just let's just work on passing the guard now. But there's at least a few seconds there. I'm like, this fucker. We were playing a cool game, and this guy just fucking changed the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I like to pull guard on you.
Yeah.
You're good at takedowns. But you know, I'll I still try to like.
It's part of the game.
It's part of the game. I still try to look for some position, you know, or whatever. I mean, for me, I feel like with stand up, like I don't know how to put it. I call it plan B, right? Pulling guard's plan B. So I always have plan A. Like plan A, like I like, you know, my plan A is getting a hip toss. Like that's mine. Like if I can get an underhook and get in there and maybe not even my hip, but like, you know, just get that foot across. I know it's not like the hip toss, but like where you like pop the leg to get it over. Like I'm not too bad at that one, man. If I can get in deep on someone, like if I really want to play stand up with someone and I can get that grip, like, you know, that's a good one for me. But I can recognize pretty quickly, like I said, like you lay hands on someone and someone lays hands on you and you can tell pretty quickly, like, okay, like where are we at here? Does this guy know what's going on? Is he better than me? And dude, if I get in there and I'm like, all right, I'm playing into his strength. Okay, now it's time for plan B, because I think that being first isn't necessarily like initiating a takedown, is initiating the action. I
mean, and pulling guard could be your plan.
Right.
It could be
plan A, but
it could be a plan. Like just like you said, once you get out there, you start moving around with somebody, and you tie up with them the first time, you get a pretty good sense, and you can tell like, oh, this fucker's wrestled a lot before. If I just let him take me down, I'm gonna be down on points. He might be on top. At least if I initiate the action, if I'm first and he's got to follow my lead because I'm pulling guard, now I'm a step ahead instead of playing catch up.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
I know.
It's just good recognition of it. Like, I might be swimming in deeper water than I can handle right now. Like, let's change the fight.
But even if you pull guard, I think my point is I still think like going in and saying like, all right, see if I can get a takedown. But when you recognize like, okay, this isn't going the way I want. And if you don't practice takedowns a lot, right? Like that's not going to be very often. Like, man, I'm pretty much just going to be pulling guard a lot. But I still like that mindset. Like I will say, like I like that Kevin has drilled that into us. Like, you know, it's pulling guard is a fucking fine option.
Yep.
Look for a takedown. Like your mindset going out should be to try to like take that motherfucker down. And if you can't, then all right, initiate the action pulling guard. So and at the highest levels, you may just know like, you know, as soon as I slap hands and get a grip, that means pull guard because like you know that dude's like so fucking good. But you know, I still think that I just my point is I like that we've got that takedown emphasis. Mm-hmm. Kevin still drills that into us.
Yeah, I've almost any jiu-jitsu school, from like my first school back in Michigan to Mauricio's in Denver to Grand Valley, they were all pretty takedown heavy. Like, we didn't shy away from them in any way, shape, or form. At my jiu-jitsu school back in Michigan, dude, we would have straight up wrestling days. Like, you know, we're just taking the motherfuckers down for 2 hours straight. We're just doing takedowns. Fucking takedowns. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a fun part of it.
It is. It is.
I mean, the risk for injury is a little higher.
It is. It's a fine line. You got to watch, like, because you can overdo it. Cause, I mean, there is a reason that people are doing jiu-jitsu instead of judo.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if people like just getting fucking slammed to the ground all the time and doing takedowns, and you know, they'd be going to judo class. So there's something about the fact that you know, like I said, like I have other options, right? Like it's not my takedown versus your takedown. Like, that's what I love about jiu-jitsu is I don't have to fucking
play that.
There's always a way around, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to go into someone's strengths. There's always a way around it, and so you know, yeah, that's what makes the jiu-jitsu so much fun, because all right, let's get to the ground then, or I'll get down and sweep you or see where we go, but yeah, open up those opportunities. Mm-hmm. So it makes it fun, man.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Good training this morning.
It was, man.
9 a.m.
Sunday session.
Sunday strangling session, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, man. Well, we have six of us in there.
6 of us in there.
So yeah, it's a good crew. Yeah. Good old Trey. He's got to get a different color gi. His new blue belt blends in with his gi. Yeah. It's fucking hilarious.
He hasn't learned you get to, whenever you get promoted to a new belt, you can use that as an excuse to buy yourself a new gi.
Yeah.
It's like an unwritten jiu-jitsu rule.
Yeah. That's good. So, now he knows.
We'll
let him
he'll
know.
Hear this and know. Then he'll feel okay. Oh, it's justified. I can buy a new gi.
Right. Hell yeah. So, yeah, man. So what, I don't know. You said you had some notes.
We can dig right into those? Yeah.
I don't know. Unless you got some other.
I don't know. Don't really have anything else. What did we talk about last time? We talked about Michael Pollan's and defensive food, the Ferocity hobby thing. Did you hear, did you listen to, go ahead.
So I finished listening to that, and he got into the philosophy stuff.
Yeah, he got deep into the philosophy stuff.
I fucking like that, man. Yeah. Like I really, it was funny. Again, like listening, Joe couldn't wrap his mind around how science has just as much woo-woo in it as anything else. And that's kind of what I was saying on the last podcast. Like, people don't realize, like, science, you know, there is a difference between real science, the philosophy of science, and religious philosophy. But to the layperson, to the average person, science can quickly become just another religion. Just another way to kind of, like, control people, because they don't realize that, man, a lot, like, just because it came out in a study does not mean that it's real. It doesn't, and not understanding that, not being able to investigate it. So that's how you end up, again, we talk about all the time, like, oh, you know, saturated fats are bad for you, and, you know, sugar's okay. It's like, the study said it. And then you dig into it and you realize, like, oh, wait a minute, like, they didn't eliminate all the other possibilities. So from a true philosophical standpoint, true scientific philosophy, is that the way you put it?
I think so.
Yeah, standpoint, you can't say it's true. And I love how he was talking about, like, Newton's idea of gravity was really no different than Aristotle's idea of gravity, which was really no different than, like, his example of fucking gremlins, you know, invisible gremlins lassoing you up. Yeah. At the end of the day, they were all proven untrue. And so what makes Isaac Newton's idea of gravity any less woo-woo than fucking gremlins? It's not. It was the exact same thing. It was woo-woo. And there's just so much of that in science. So few things that we really, really, really know for sure. And that's what, that's what drives me nuts, especially like in the training and nutrition world, with science and people not understanding the true philosophy of science versus just like, this came out on PubMed, so obviously it's like scientific gospel. And so, anyways, man, that was deep. I was digging on that. Yeah.
Well, and it ties right in because we were talking at the end of the last one. You know, I still remember talking about the scientific studies, like when it comes to nutrition. You know, they're always just studying one compound.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're taking that out of the context of the whatever else is in the food, whatever else is in the diet, whatever else is in the lifestyle, yada yada. And so, you know, that gets, you know, misconstrued really fast. Because people, and then another thing that happens is that to do a real concrete nutritional study on human beings is fucking almost impossible.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you
so many factors.
There's so many factors, and unless you couldn't do a large scale. Let's just say hypothetically, you could even do it with like 20 fucking people, man. You had like a control group and you had your test group, and you put them in a monitored facility, 24 hours a day. They're monitored. You know, for 6 months, like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of those studies just don't happen because people have lives.
Yeah.
We're not test subjects. So they do, so it gets funny, so then they do a lot of the tests on, mice or, whatever, fucking lab rats. And then so people hear a study about this, this happened in lab rats. So all of a sudden this is great for people. Like,
yeah,
you're making a big jump there, man.
Yeah.
And then that's just another religion. That's just a philosophy that you're, subscribing to.
One of my favorites back in the day, when I was really into it in the supplement and fitness side of stuff, there was a supplement that came out. I'm pretty sure it was good old Muscle Tech, and they had a study that said like, hey, this compound will raise your testosterone levels. And when you looked into it and you looked at the study, what they had done is taken mice and dunked them in cold water. And what they found was that the mice, they'd given this, I forget what it was, like some vitamin or amino acid or something like that they gave them to, suffered a lowered cortisol response as a result of being dunked in this cold water. So their extrapolation was that, hey, lifting weights is a stress, like being dunked in cold water. Because cortisol, right? Like everybody knows that cortisol catabolizes your muscle and you want to, minimize it, blah, blah, blah. So, and it also like lowers testosterone levels. The higher the cortisol, the lower the testosterone. So that was their, you know what I mean? And this is in rats. They're dunking rats in cold water and then extrapolating that like young men
lifting
weights, taking this supplement, this is going to help lower cortisol and keep their testosterone levels up. But that's a lot of those shenanigans go down, man.
Dude, a lot of them go down.
I mean,
it sounds ridiculous what you're saying right there, but most of the fucking time when you're talking about studies and people using one study to prove their claim about their supplement or their nutrition idea, it's that exact path they're taking.
Yeah.
They're taking one little study on some lab rats and just, well, if this is this, well, then that's really equal to this, so that must mean this. You know, and then A equals B, and then they just fucking stretch it all out.
Yep.
And it's like, whoa, man, that's so far away from what?
Yeah, that's why I would always tell people, it's like science is nothing but a signpost along the path. It's not the map. And so if you're looking at the signpost, and that's the thing where like the smart people, right, what they do well is they're able to see trends over large, groups of studies or, a long period of time, right? So like that's what you're looking for really is trends in a lot of studies. And so, hey, sugar is bad for you. Like, again, there's people out there that's not true for, right? Like you gotta always have that. It's not 100% true for every person, but I can say that with pretty good confidence just based on A, the studies that have been done, and B, my own experience and things that I've seen, and also borrowing the knowledge and experience of people, these books that I've read and looked into. So, I can take all of that. Again, that's what Faraz was saying. Science is really just, you're relying that the past is going to be the same as the future.
Yep, it's going to behave the same.
It's going to behave the same. And so, and as long as you understand that, okay, I'm just trusting that the information that I have is pointing in a direction, and I'm just trusting that okay, if I do A, then B is going to happen. But you also have to understand that B isn't guaranteed to happen. Mm-hmm. And when it doesn't happen, that's when most people get fucked up, because they go back to doubling down on like, well, wait a minute, I did A. I'm supposed to do A. The future's always, or the present's always supposed to behave like the past. Like, what the fuck? And that's where being flexible, the really good coaches and the really good thinkers, they're able to be flexible when presented with C. It's like, oh, whoa, okay, we got C. How'd that happen? And what does this mean? And so, but that's why Faraz is, I think, such a good coach. That philosophical background allows him to be flexible with his approach with athletes versus like, this is it. You're fitting into this mold. Yep, you're fitting in this mold, or else that's it. And obviously he's got his principles. I guarantee you, like 80+% of what he does with his athletes would probably look pretty similar. If you're looking at like a given program for him, but it's that 20% where you're able to adapt to the individual. I'd say that goes for training, nutrition, anything like that. Yeah, there's going to be a certain percentage that you have to adapt to the individual. You cannot just take a formula, and apply it to everyone the same way. And again, that's where people get confused, because they read this diet book that says, oh, this is the diet, or this is the workout. And, It turns out to not be the case, and then they get frustrated. But you just gotta be flexible. So
you have to be flexible, and back to what I've said a million times, use yourself as you are the best lab rat for yourself.
Yeah, of one, man. Like you are. That's what life is. You are a scientific experiment of one.
Exactly. And you can do your own case studies, however detailed you want to get.
Yep.
You are your own lab rat.
Yeah.
And so you can you take in all this information and try it. You read a new book, try it. Okay, this part of it worked. I didn't like this part. I was able to do this. Boom. And then so you take a little chunk from there. Then you read the next book. You listen to the next podcast. Take a little chunk from there. Boom. And you just start putting it all together and seeing what works. Play with it for a while. That's really what it boils down to. There is no, like you say, you can't stuff everybody into the same mold.
Yeah, no.
Because they're not all going to, no matter, what I like to do on a weekly basis for my training, if I was to write that down and stick somebody else into that, they might be like, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You're not doing enough of this, you're doing too much of that, blah, blah, blah. But, I don't know, man, I feel good doing it. So
yeah.
if you don't like it, then fucking do something else.
It's hard to argue with results.
Yeah.
That's something else, man, as a trainer, I learn, or, coach, it's like, dude, you can't argue with results. So if someone's, getting results with something and it's, doesn't make sense, it's like, dude, you can't argue with them, right? And I could probably fuck this dude up worse by trying to, make him fit into this mold, that's one of the things I was talking with somebody about running. When you look into running, people are like, oh, this is the running mechanics, right? People would say okay, there's 10 points of good running mechanics. But the thing is, when you look at world-class runners, they may tick 8 of those boxes, but there's 2 of them they don't. No one ticks all 10 of those boxes. So really what they're talking about is along an average of all of these people, you'll see blah, 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 blah. But everyone's going to have that little bit, man. The universe always just adds their, little unique touch to everyone. And if you try to just get everyone into that same box, no, you got to tick all 10 of these things or else your running stride isn't efficient or good. You can actually make them worse. And again, it doesn't make sense, right? Well, it's supposed to be better. It's look, you do if you're doing everything you can, if you can control everything you can, right? You're doing good mobility training, you're doing good strength training, you got your nutrition dialed in. At that point, if some things are different for you than other people, man, that's just you give your body the best environment you can, and then it'll adapt to what's really going to work best for it. And then, but yeah, that's the self-experimentation. And then my daughter's teacher, I think, threw a question out to them, and she asked me because they had to come back and give some sort of answer for it. It was is it okay to experiment on humans? And I remember my answer was well, what is life but self-experimentation? You're just experimenting on yourself. So of course it's okay to experiment on humans. How the hell are you going to get through life if you're not experimenting on a human like you? So anyways, I like to throw stuff like that in my daughter's brain so she can throw that out at class.
That's good. Yeah, I do that. I experiment when we wrestle with each other. Especially when I wrestle with you, we've trained so much together and we've talked so much, so we know how each other's brains works a lot. So it makes our wrestling fucking really interesting because I know how James thinks, so I can fucking experiment with that. I know if I do this and I give him some resistance here, I bet you he's gonna do this. And oh yeah, he did. And so I do that shit all the time. And then I'm always betting that the present's gonna is gonna repeat itself. The past is gonna repeat itself. And then I'll do this, and all of a sudden it doesn't repeat. I'm oh shit, A didn't equal B this time. Oh fuck,
yeah,
he's got my ankle. A didn't equal B. A went to fucking D. God damn it.
Yeah, man. I'll say it's funny you mentioned that though, man. But that pattern recognition and that ability to change. Dude, Kevin, I can't hit, I can't get the same thing twice on that dude. I mean, he's a master of oh, okay. And even when I hit something, right, sometimes he's just being lazy. But it's just, and that's, I think the best training partners are the ones who are continually giving you new problems. But it's funny, not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone goes home and thinks okay, why, wait a minute, Rob was doing something different. Why was he doing that? Or why do I keep getting stuck in this position? How do I get out of that? And, they just kind of keep their future, it just keeps repeating their past. But yeah, I consciously try to do that. I mean, if you hit me with something once, man. It's like the old saying, fool me once, shame on me. Or you, yeah, fool me twice, shame on me. And it's like, I do not like getting fooled twice with the same thing, especially when I know it's because you're taking advantage of some fucking tendency that I have. It's like, all right, well, I got to change that. But I'm very conscious of that. I'm always thinking. I think that's why I have fun. I think that's why like the game continually evolves. Like it never gets boring because it's just always like, all right, well, I didn't realize I was leaving that open. It's like I got to change my strategy for that whole thing or whatever. So.
And sometimes it's just something. It's just a little hesitation in your timing.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to change the whole move, but you can stick with doing the same move. But as soon as usually you do A, so then I do B right away. So it's like A B. Well, then you get used to me going A B. So then you go A and I go A and a half B.
Yeah.
And then you go and then it'll work.
Yeah.
And so now you're not changing the move, so to speak. You're just changing
the rhythm,
the rhythm, the timing a little bit.
Yeah, that may be it.
That may be it. And then your partner will figure that out.
But that's different. Something's got to be different.
Something's got to be different.
Yeah, like you just keep repeating the same.
If you're doing it
thing.
at the exact same time,
right.
the exact same. This equals this, like it gets figured out.
I know. I was talking with Thomas this morning, and he said that him and Beto always get in these half guard battles with like him on bottom half guard and Beto on top, and they're just like, can't really do anything. And I was like, yeah, like you just gotta think about like what can you do differently. And sometimes you just gotta like try something stupid and just see what happens or
and
whatever.
Just catalog it.
Catalog it, man. Okay, that did not work or whatever. But eventually you start to, because I know for me when I first started, I was famous for knee shield. It's like, dude, I would get into like just some epic 5-minute battles from just knee shield with some people. And, one, I know like, they're working on trying to pass, but two, I'm like, okay, I'm not learning anything, right? I need to get better from knee shield. And so, now I feel like I don't get stuck there. Like I'm able to use it. And then it's like, okay, they're just sitting here, but now I know I have other options to advance the action from there. But I never would have got there if I hadn't have, and I still get smashed. I'm still experimenting with things from like Z guard and the knee shield guard, and dude, sometimes things go horribly wrong, horribly wrong, and you're just like, that did not work out the way I wanted to. But that willingness to try and be like, that's how you solve problems. That's what makes jiu-jitsu so much fun, man, because that didn't work, and if things go horribly wrong, okay, slap hands, try again, or like the buzzer's gonna sound and you're gonna get a chance to fucking try again. So it's such a hyper compressed, problem solving reality.
Yeah, because you can recreate that exact problem that you failed at.
Yeah.
And try another solution.
Yep.
That's
or
really,
try the time, or like you say, try the timing different.
That's really
or whatever.
cool. Yeah, just another slight variation. But you can, in life when you fuck up and make a wrong decision, there's times where you don't want to recreate that situation.
No.
You're just like, okay, I fucked up. That one's in the memory bank. I won't make that decision if that situation or a situation like that comes up again. With jiu-jitsu, you get to, we'll get stubborn and we'll get back to that same problem we fucked up and we'll try to like, I know that solution works. I'm going to try it again. Then you get fucked up again. Like, God damn it. Why did I try it again? But then you're, 5 minutes later, you're back in that exact same problem. All right, new solution. Then you try a new solution. That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. So
you get do-overs a lot.
You do, man.
Do-over.
Yep. Oh, that didn't work.
That didn't work.
That was not go the way I had planned.
That is not how I thought it would fucking play out.
It's all right, though. Get to work on your defense at that point.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's what makes it fun.
Yep.
So, yeah. But philosophy. I think that's how we got started on it. The science of jiu-jitsu.
The science of jiu-jitsu, the philosophy of science.
You gotta be flexible, man. The future may not always...
It doesn't always repeat
the past. And the
That
ability to
sure.
be flexible. Man, that is probably, like, honestly, when you think about it, like, dude, again, jiu-jitsu is such a great example of that, because something comes along, you get some new fucking lapel guard or, like leg locks or something like that. And it's
new
like,
training partner that does all shit different you're not used to.
yeah, and if you can't adapt to it, you can't fucking, just go along with it and not be stubborn. You know, like Bruce Lee used to say, like, you gotta be like water, man. It's like, hey, you can't get stubborn with this is the way it has to go. You know, back to the Danaher thing of like takedown, pass the legs, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a great strategy. But if you can't be flexible from that strategy, like, you can get in trouble for sure. And so, anyways, yeah.
Just like life, you know, if something's not going the way you thought it should go, you can mope around about it, or you can just be like, all right, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And now I just got to figure this out. This is where it's at. This is where my life's at right now. Maybe I'm not happy about it, but this is the fucking deal, man.
Yeah.
And it's nobody else's fault that it's that deal. You made choices if ultimately that got you there. You gotta, like you say, you can't. I mean, it's okay to get upset and frustrated, but you can't just let that frustration just fucking eat at you because you just got to find another solution.
Yep, find another solution,
find
man.
another flow with it. Like, okay, this is where it's at right now.
Any mental energy going towards self-pity is not going towards finding a solution.
Exactly. And that's easier said than done, man.
It is.
It's so much easier said than done.
Dude, I mean, fuck, you said that you had helped me out the other day. Got in a little, like, had some, in this program that I'm in, there's 5 different businesses, and one of the owners of one of the businesses is a younger kid, and we were out having some drinks, and you know, everybody's kind of under some stress because this guy's trying to raise some money for his business and stuff, and you know, I kind of baited him and he took the bait, and then I wouldn't drop it. We had some words, and yeah, man, I had to freaking, you know, had to look at what I was doing and really evaluate. Like, I got myself in this, you know, weird situation, and yeah, had to build step back, it's like, hey, what the fuck can I do, and just deal with it rather than feeling sorry for myself over it. And honestly, it was funny when I called you. I was in that like feeling sorry for myself mode, and I didn't quite realize it and recognize it. And when I realized, it was funny, man, because I talked to Kiela and she's like, oh, you know what Rob's saying? I was joking around. I was like, I talked him into seeing it my way. And I feel like that's kind of probably what I did a little bit, you know? Like, I probably, and so, because you weren't there, right? And so I was explaining it from my point of view. And I felt like I wasn't doing it injustice, but, you know, you weren't there. And so it's kind of easy for me. And you know me, you're my friend. And so you know that I never get in situations like that. So, like, the automatic reaction of everybody, of my friends who hears that's like, holy shit, like, this dude must have been an asshole. Like, what the fuck was his deal? But sure enough, I had a buddy who's in the group too, and he was there at the dinner, and he was able to. I couldn't talk him into seeing it my way because he was there.
Because he saw the situation.
He saw the situation,
and he knows the other person involved.
Yeah, and he saw that, like, you know, okay, man, it's not whether you were right or wrong. But there were spots where you could have handled the situation differently, and you didn't. And so if you can see where, like, hey, man, if this point right here, I hadn't have done this, then the situation wouldn't have escalated. And it wasn't that, like, doing that, right? Like, the guy was basically saying that I said something I didn't. So he was saying I was lying and like, wouldn't stop saying it. So it wasn't like I was just being an asshole. It was like, but like the guy pointed out, like, hey, man, everybody at the group knew what was going on. You know, why'd you have to defend yourself? And I was like, God damn it, you're right. Like, I didn't have to defend myself. Like, that was my ego getting fired up.
And defending itself.
Well, you're going to call me a liar? I'm not a liar. And that's not it's not a bad thing to defend necessarily, but at the end of the day, like, the people who know you are going to know, like, well, you're not a liar. And the people that, you know, are going to think that you're a liar ain't going to care what you do anyway. So it's like, all right, why did I get sucked into that? And really, like, I forget which book, man, but one of the martial arts books on, like, the martial art mindset had a really good point that, like, a lot of times when you're going to fight for honor, it's not your honor that you should be fighting for. It's usually, you're defending someone else. Like, as a martial artist, you know, we learn to fight so we don't have to fight. But what we're defending people who need help and can't defend themselves, like, that's okay. But just sticking up, like, just defending your own honor, it's like, why? You know, at some level, it's like that's That's your ego.
That's your ego.
Not your honor.
Yeah.
Right? But like your honor won't allow you to see someone else be hurt and them not be able to defend themselves, and then that's where a true martial artist will step in. But it's not walking around with a chip on your shoulder looking for every fucking opportunity. Oh, you fucking think I'm, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to defend my honor. So, after like kind of hearing what he said and kind of thinking back to, that, I was like, motherfucker. They're right. So, I had to go and apologize to the guy. But it turned out good, because at the end of the day, he apologized too. And he's like, yeah, I was out of line, with a lot of stress, a little alcohol, and we've all been there. And I don't know, for me, like we talked about it, I'm like, dude, I don't exchange those words lightly. Like if I tell someone that like, you're an old man, I'm going to kick your ass.
Those are fighting words.
Those are fighting words. So it's like, whoo, and I had to realize like, we just, maybe we just kind of come from two different worlds. Like we see those words differently. So, me walking around with this, he has, I don't know. It was funny. It was an interesting situation, but it was that. It was like, all right, I'm in this fucked up situation. And while I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself and I was pissed, I'm like, like I wasn't looking for a real solution. Like not like a real sustainable one. I was just trying to find one that was like an easy way out that would be like, I'm going to take my ball and go home or whatever. And, but yeah, it was funny, man. Going on a bike ride at fucking 9,000 feet.
Would change your
perspective, man. We were just pedaling up. Because, we wanted to get up as high as we could to get a view. So we were just pedaling up the road from the gondola there. And, that gondola is at, like 9,500 feet or something like that. Like, we probably got
up in Mountain Village?
Yeah, man. So, Mount Sophia, the top before it starts going down into Mountain Village. Because Mountain Village is, like, over 9,000 feet, like 9,100.
Yep.
So, that gondola's got to be another few hundred feet above that. And then we're going up. So, we had to be getting close to 10,000 feet. It's Rocky Mountain High, baby.
That's a long ways up there.
Riding a bike.
That's a long ways up there. To be doing anything very physical, dude.
So it was funny, man. Everything just kind of dissolved by the time I got to the top of the mountain, and hearing old boy just kind of calling me out on a few things that I couldn't deny, and just thinking about it. It was like, all right, I just got to figure out a solution. So it's not easy, man.
It's not easy. You said a lot of good things there. One of them I want to touch on was, like as a martial artist, I think so many people that aren't martial artists get such a fucked up Hollywood perspective of it. And what I mean is that you talked about in this day and age, you having to quote unquote defend your honor isn't really going to fucking happen. You're defending your ego. At the end of the day, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Because your honor, like for you to get into an altercation on the street to defend your honor because someone fucking called you a name or offended you is so absurd.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now, if you're defending somebody that can't stick up for themselves, that's a different fucking thing. I'm all for that. But, dude, I have a hard time finding a situation in my imaginary world to where you would have to defend your honor. Or you could just walk away. It might hurt. Or you might, but there's no, it might hurt your ego, or your pride.
Ego talking to you.
It's your ego talking to you. But see, so many people get a fucked up perspective of that. Like, what I mean is, I had this situation just last week. I was talking to like an acquaintance of mine, and a couple of his buddies were around, and they knew I do jiu-jitsu. And he said the words something like, "Oh yeah, I think it's awesome you do jiu-jitsu. I think it's a really important skill that you can fuck somebody up." And I looked at him. I was like, "Not really, man. Like that's." I was like, I think it's important to stay healthy because, dude, the chances of me ever fighting on the street are fucking slim to none. Like, I have a better chance of winning the lottery. I was like, I stay healthy so I can run away. I was like, if you and I are about to get in a fight out here in the middle of the street, like, I'm just going to run. And I'm in good fucking shape. Like, I'm going to run a long ways. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do this. And that's not why I do this.
Yeah.
It's not like the fucking movies. I don't know. I think a lot of people think that. They think you're doing jiu-jitsu so you can walk around and be a badass. When you do jiu-jitsu, you realize you're not shit.
Yeah.
That's really what it teaches you. And you get that out on the mat in a hard training session with your close friends, man. The people I do jiu-jitsu with, those are my better friends than anybody else. And that's why we can beat the fuck out of each other, because we trust each other.
And we're both sitting there with fucked up faces. I'm looking at your shit. I know my lips all fucked up.
I know, dude. I ate some good cross faces, but yeah, like you don't do it so you can walk around and fuck people up on the street. But I think so many people think that.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I have a hard time like understanding how people view me when they see me or meet me for the first time. I guess I look a little rough, you know, with my fucking blockhead and my fucked up ears, and so maybe it puts out this vibe, you know, that's what I got going on. But that's not the deal. You know, that's really not the fucking deal, man. That's not why you're doing it.
No.
And I keep myself in good shape and pursue a martial art like that because it feels good, dude. It keeps me sane, if I can qualify myself as sane. For what the little grip of reality I can hang on to, you know, that's due to jiu-jitsu. You know, it's an outlet. It's challenging, all these things. And yeah, so many people just get a fucked up perspective of it.
Yeah.
And then for somebody, you're never going to meet a really good jiu-jitsu guy and get into an argument with him to where he's going to say, well, I'm going to fuck you up, old man. Like, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's just, somebody who stuck it out. Like, you get to the point to where you're a purple belt. Like, that's not in your ideas anymore of how the world works. It's not. So I don't know, man. Like, if more people did jiu-jitsu, I think the world would be a better place. That is for certain. But
dude, it was. I had an interesting conversation actually with the lady that I was staying with there in Telluride. I was renting a room for her, and I can't remember how it got brought up. I think we were talking about jiu-jitsu, and she was like, you know, what's that? And I was like, well, you know, it's like kind of like when they go to the ground and you know, the MMA, you know, UFC stuff. They'll be using some jiu-jitsu. It's like grappling without punches and stuff like that. And she made some comment about like she just doesn't understand the need in this day and age for people to have to communicate through violence. I was just like, wow. Like, I'm like, but that's like communicate through violence. I'm like, that's not what it is, you know? Like, it's not a matter of trying to communicate through violence. Like, there's so many other beautiful things that you're getting. And it was funny. I forget exactly like how, but like by the end of it, I had her telling her son, who was staying there too, he needed to like check out jiu-jitsu.
That's good.
And yeah, man, I was like, dude, those are like the people that I do jiu-jitsu with, like those are my brothers and sisters. Like, I'm putting my life in their hands. I trust them. They trust me. And we're doing it. It has nothing to do with communicating through violence. I mean, it's you know, self-improvement and just there's so many other positive things that you're getting from it that's just a side effect in some way of it. But I will say, at the end of the day, being able to check that box of being able to fuck someone up, it's a good skill.
It's a good skill.
It's a good skill. I know what you're saying, because that guy's mindset wasn't it wasn't balanced.
Right.
And so you were just trying to help him kind of get a little balance to like, yeah, you know, maybe it is good to know that, but like that's not
why we do
it.
And I think a lot of people, you know, you're saying this, you know, the same thing I like. That what that guy said is, oh yeah, I think it's an important skill to have to fuck somebody up, and he's talking from a street point of view, and then that lady saying to you, I don't understand in this day and age why you need to communicate through violence. Like, they're coming from the same point of view. I'd have to assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people think that's what we do. They don't know the difference between kung fu, taekwondo, karate, fucking jiu-jitsu. They don't know the difference.
Well,
it's
any
fighting.
martial art.
Any martial art.
I'd say like any true martial art. Like, you know, we love jiu-jitsu, and I think that you find it in jiu-jitsu just inherently because you slap hands and roll, so it's just kind of like baked into it, unlike a lot of other martial arts. But I'd say that any good martial art being taught by a legitimate martial art artist himself is...
And we are back.
We're back after some technical difficulties.
Happens once in a while.
Yep.
We don't have the best
break.
equipment here.
Yep.
It just is what it is.
It is, yeah.
We're talking about people having the wrong idea about martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's more really about you are learning to fuck people up, but you're learning to be. It's all about the path to being the best version of yourself. Learning about yourself when you're tired and you're fucking in an uncomfortable situation. Like, are you just gonna quit?
Your best self.
Yeah. Are you gonna? You have time to take inventory. Like, okay, how uncomfortable am I? I can't really breathe well, but I'm not about to go unconscious. None of my limbs are in immediate danger of getting broken. I don't need a tap. And you have to go. Not many other situations are going to, or activities are going to put you in that situation to where you have to go down that checklist.
Yeah.
Like, okay, windpipe's still open. Check. Heart rate's through the roof. Check. But that's okay. It's still beating. All my limbs. Nothing's getting broken right now. Good. Check. All right. Don't have to tap. There's a way out. And there's a lot of growth that goes on in that little scenario right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin had me in that fucking dude. His pressure and side control today, he even asked me after because he was playing with his pressure like mount and side control. And that fucker man was doing some things in side control that were just zapping my soul.
The soul crusher.
The soul crusher of fucking side controls, dude. Oh man, and I wasn't going to tap the pressure. I was like, dude, I'll let fucking ribs crack. Like, I am not tapping the fucking pressure, man. And he does the shit where he gets my arm across.
Oh,
and, me doing a few too many push-ups and the fucking... That is not good on my pec muscle, dude. That fucking hurts. But I know it's not really going to hurt, like, damage anything. At least I don't think so. And so I'll just deal with it. Then he was putting... Oh, my God. It was fucking terrible, dude. And he knew it, and so he just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, you had some fucking good... The way we ended up in mount, because we were from closed guard, and you came over, dude, and you had your legs still, like, connected underneath me, and you were wrapped right around my fucking diaphragm. And, dude, I didn't want to let, like, I mean, that's why I gave up I had to find somewhere, dude. Dude, there was a moment, it was one of those, too, where I was like, I ain't tapping the pressure. Like, I don't know if you realize, like, you had me like that.
I knew I was putting some pressure on that.
Yeah, well, it was the way we were, man, because we were mounted, and you still, just the way that you had your legs, and you had your weight on me, and you were squeezing still, because you didn't want to let me, like, move. And, man, I had to. I was, like, going through that assessment. I was like, dude, I'm not tapping the pressure. I just have to find a space, for something. That's finally, like, when I got to you to my, or I got you to go to my back, and then I just sat there, like I had to catch my breath, like I was just like, oh, and I was just defending, and then I finally I was like, all right, now I got to get out of here, and I started like trying to get my head and started to try to get the fuck out of there, and that's when we ended up in the neon nards position. From
need you right in the fucking Bojangles.
Yeah, man, but again, that was another one where I was like, all right, I'm not going to tap to nard pressure. All right, I got to fucking take a break to nard pressure.
That was just kind of a shitty accident.
No, I know. And it was 100% my fault, like we were saying. Like I had my inside leg. I was trying to scrape the ground to come underneath, get inside your shin. And I remember I had one elbow in your armpit, and I had my other hand like framed on your hip. And I was just pushing down, and I basically did the splits, pushing down, and you tried to go to neon belly, and I just fucking shoved you right onto my nuts, and I was like, it was one of those like, okay, I'm gonna try and deny this for a second.
Oh, dude, it was one of those good ones too. Like I was telling you, is when it happened, without being gross, dude. Like I felt your nuts on my shin, like my shin and my knee. Like I felt the squish. I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt. And I got off there as soon as I could. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I was like, you all right? And I remember I was like, you all right? And you're like, yeah. And then about 10 seconds passed, and you're like, dude, I gotta stop. That's when you know it's a good one. When you're like, initially you're like, okay, no, I think I can tough it out. And then you're like, I can't tough this out
anymore.
Yeah,
man, the wave just came. And I was sitting there, I know Kevin even asked me, because usually you can bounce those fuckers off pretty quickly, but dude, I was like...
Sometimes you caught just right, dude.
Just right, I know. He's like, dude, you all right? I'm like, man, it hurts. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Like,
but
nope.
It's like, dude, you can control any man by his nards.
Yep.
It's a good
that
move.
Hurts, dude.
Good move on the street.
Yeah, if you're fighting Hollywood style.
But yeah, man, same thing though. I had my moment where I was like, I gotta figure this is so uncomfortable. I cannot breathe. Rob is pissed. And he's taking it out on me because you just taking a couple fucking beatings from Kevin.
Taking several ass whoopings from Kevin.
Dude, I know, man. You're coming.
Ass whoopings run downhill, my friend.
I know they do. I know. Well, that's the thing. I come home and Kelly's like, "What's that on your lip?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I go and I look in the bathroom and I got like some fucking abrasion on my lip.
There's like it bruised up pretty fast. Like you caught a good crossface or a knee or something.
I go. That's Rob. 100%.
Was that me?
Well, here's my reasoning. You just took some ass whoopings from Kevin, and you were fucking looking for someone to take it out on. Like that's what I told her. I was like, "Oh yeah,
it's very
that's
possible.
Rob." He was coming.
It
hard.
looks like it very well could have been like a wrist bone to like a cross face. It's like caught you right in the lip to bruise it.
Yeah, well, because we were sitting there when you're on my back. We were in we weren't on either side. It was like you were on your back, and I was like pointing to the ceiling, and you kept trying to fucking
dig my hand.
Yeah, you kept trying to dig your hand in to get the rear naked. And I'm like, man, I'll take a fucking. I'm not giving you that rear naked. You know, I don't want to. The face is not a good defense, but it can aid in the defense.
It can buy you a little bit of time.
I can deflect the wrist a little bit. You know, I've still got the hand on, but I can deflect it, man. Because as soon as that I hate that rear naked, man. You know, as soon as that blade cinches in, and they get a hold of that far side shoulder,
it's tough, dude.
Ooh, yeah, you know you got your work cut out for it at that point. So.
Oh, I know. Like I was on the receiving end of that with one of our training partners, Randy, because I think it was Wednesday night or Friday night, one of the two.
Oh yeah. He'll get on your back.
I did quite a few rounds with him, dude. I did like 2, 3, 4 rounds in a row with him. I got to figure that puzzle out. That fucker's so strong. His jiu-jitsu's good. Yeah, man. And he got on my back and got the rear naked in. And again, it wasn't like on my neck. But, your face is in the defense. Yeah. But it was buying me a little bit of time. Like I was burying my chin in the crook of his elbow.
Yeah.
Just the old school self-defense, instead of so it's not cutting off the windpipe and he's not quite cutting the blood off. But, man, he just put some heat on it just a little bit. Slowly started. Dude, my jaw hurt for fucking 2 days afterwards. Because it happened more than once he got there.
Man.
And he wants it, dude. He squeezed just fucking. He's going to pop my head like a zit.
Yeah.
And I was just burying, not wanting to tap to my face getting crushed. And, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, once they get that locked in, man. That's for me, that rear naked choke, it's like this this shoulder blade, like that little notch right there. I know if you get your fucking fingers and you catch that little notch on the top of the shoulder blade
almost
there,
a done deal.
Man, it's
pretty close.
It's gotten, that's a tough day. So if I can keep it just from there, man, even if I'm using my jaw a little bit, I got a fighting chance. So it's funny. It's worked for me a little bit too, because Trey's fucking,
his back
good,
control,
going for those. You were drilling this once, was like jacking the arm on like the choking arm, like jacking that side arm up, and like getting their elbow up so they can't quite like cinch it in. And I've used that a couple times to buy me just enough space and time to kind of get out, because Trey's one of those dudes. He's boom across before you even fucking know it. And his limbs, man, like those things just like sneak into places. Like his arms are short, so like they don't have to travel this big distance. It's like all of a sudden, like, wow, it's like, God damn, dude, I need another like 2-3 inches, that time. And but anyways, that's one. I hate those. Like I always feel like a collar choke, there's always some, you get choked out by them, but there's just so many more little like Hail Mary moves, little things you can do to get a little space. But dude, a good rear naked, that's why they call it the lion killer, man. Like once that thing gets sunk in,
there's no tough guys to the choke, man.
No, man.
Rear naked choke.
Not that one. Nope. That one's fucking done. Defenses are few and far between.
That's why it was Marcelo's favorite.
Yeah. Once you get that thing locked in on someone's back, I'm bummed, man. I'll be honest, because like my elbows don't bend. Like rear nakeds are tough for me to like get that sunk in. So I got.
What can you do about making your elbows bend more? You got shit floating around in there? Do you got to go get operated on or something?
I don't know. I went and had them x-rayed, and they just said, man, you've got calcification and just basically arthritis. They said I've got fucking arthritis in my elbows. So
that's what limits the movement of them, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, it helps with making frames.
It does help with the rigor mortis guard.
Yeah, that last little, it's like, dude, he's got good frames. It's like, no, my elbows just don't bend anymore, bro.
That's just the end of my structure.
It's the end of the structure. But that's also why I'm so hyper aware. Like, you like to try to get that fucking from side control, get the lapel over the wrist and lock it in. And I can't do it because, like, if you get that locked in real tight, like the pressure and stuff on my elbow, you know, I'll have to do something stupid to get out of it. And so, but that's one I'm hyper aware. As soon as I feel someone trying to sneak that, I'm
get
like,
the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out of there. I can't.
Because my elbows are good, and even like if you know someone really gets that pressure, like where it collapses the palm of your hand towards your shoulder hard.
Yeah.
You know, and like heavy pressure on there.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I feel that putting a lot of pressure on my elbow.
Yeah, the same
you know,
thing.
like your elbow, like the cap of your elbow wants to shoot out the end of your fucking skin when it gets compressed too bad.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, just a little worse.
A little worse, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird thing because I've been into mobility. I've stretching, mobility, all that stuff. Like I can look back and go like, oh, I could have done more of this. I could have done more of that.
You think it's from all years of mountain biking?
It has to be, man. It has to be. Because I look at people that haven't done a fucking tenth of like the mobility training and all the stretching and all the shit that I've done. It's like, dude, their elbows are fucking fine. You know, straighten out and bend, no problem. And I'm like, dude, it had to have been because I fucked myself up riding. I've smashed my elbows. I know one of them I like slightly dislocated. And then you don't let yourself heal. You just go back to riding. That's what it was. Like, honestly, if I had to like point at something, it was probably all the times I went back to just getting on the bike, riding, because
that's what you did.
That's what you did, man. That's what you did. And yeah, shit hurt and whatever, but whatever. So now I got fucking funky elbows. That's why I got K2 D3.
That's right.
Helps out a ton, man. So, anyways. So I want to know what you got about artificial intelligence, dude.
Dig into our notes.
Yeah.
You and I slightly disagree on where AI is going.
Yes.
My stance is I believe we are going to be fighting the robots one day. Before too long, dude.
I believe that's a different statement. But
that's
I don't know. I guess it comes down to how intelligent those robots are going to be. Like, if you just mean like automatic, like, you know, they just they're independent of us. Like, then, you know, I can see that. But I don't know. I think of like artificial intelligence where it's replacing the human brain. You know, like in some way it's able to... Because what makes the human brain unique is its ability to solve problems. Its ability to take oblique pathways around problem solving. Its ability to take, you know, all of these seemingly, unrelated data points from experience to what you've learned to what you've, just all these different things to be able to synthesize them together to solve a problem. And so for me, like when people are talking about artificial intelligence and, a lot, like I kind of feel like that's what they're talking about. But if you're talking about like intelligent kind of independent of us, because we have self-driving cars, like if something went haywire in a self-driving car, like it would fucking do its own thing and we would have to fight it. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'd just be running it off of the road. But if something malfunctioned, a self-driving car just fucking started doing its own thing, like, yeah, we'd have to fight that motherfucker. So I you know what I mean? Like I think I don't know. So I don't know.
Maybe we're not too far off. But anyways, so this is, I don't know if you saw this or not, but these fucking crazy ass scientists at MIT did this experiment with some AI, and what they did is they took the creepy thing is they named their test subject Norman.
Okay.
Like from was that Norman Bates from the movie
Halloween.
Was that from Halloween?
No. That was
Bates
Psycho.
Right. But anyways,
Norman.
So they named it Norman, and they fed this thing nothing but violent, like news stories, violent images. That's all they fed it. That's all the information that went into this this AI algorithm, right? That's all they would feed it.
Okay.
And then they had another one that they fed normal shit to. But I don't know. I can't remember exactly
what normal shit is.
But just normal everyday stuff, I guess. I don't know exactly what the normal was. But I know for a fact Norman got nothing but violent images, right?
I have a weird feeling I know where this is going.
Okay, so then they ran it through the Rorschach test. You know, the ink blot test?
Uh-huh.
So anybody doesn't know what that is, you guys have all seen it in TVs and movies, to where they show you like an ink blot on a piece of paper and you use your imagination. Oh, that looks like a guy watering his flowers. You know, is it whatever?
Right, yeah.
We've all seen it. Same thing you do when you're laying on your back looking at the clouds. Oh, it looks like that. This is fucking scary, man. So I don't know how long they fed Norman these fucking violent images, right? But then they gave it the Rorschach test and they compared it to a normal AI, whatever that means.
Right.
And then the violent AI. Then here's what transpired, dude. Are you ready?
Yes.
So the ink blot they showed Norman, he saw a man being shot dead. Where the normal person saw a close-up of a vase with flowers. The normal AI.
Right.
Okay, next one. Man being shot in front of his screaming wife is what Norman saw. The standard AI saw a person holding an umbrella in the air, like floating away like Mary Poppins. He saw somebody getting shot in front of his wife, screaming.
Screaming.
The last one, Norman saw a pregnant woman falling from a construction site to her death. And the standard one saw a couple standing together happily.
Right.
There you go.
Context is everything.
Context is everything, man.
It's the Tetris effect. I think I've told you that before. They had that psychology test where they had subjects playing Tetris for like hours and hours and hours. And they reported like when they left, like everywhere they looked, they just saw Tetris blocks. Like they're just like, oh, how would those things go together? And so yeah, I'm not. It plays into like the present is repeating the past, but just in
it's a little scary
computerized format.
If that was to get away from you, like they couldn't unplug Norman.
Yeah.
What would happen? You know, it starts getting into like that movie. What's that Johnny Depp movie? It's where he uploads his consciousness.
Ooh, I don't know.
It's a good one. It's fairly new. I would have to say past the last 5 years. What the fuck was the name of that? I don't know. Good one. It could get away from us, man.
Yeah.
If Norman fucking
I agree.
got inside a Tesla, started running people down.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that, and again, that's I forget someone made a distinction about like the AI, and there's like a difference between, okay, if we're just talking about like, you know, we can set up something that can do a specific task, and then we're gonna feed it like information so it can do a task.
You know what you're talking about. Like they always talk about paper clips. Like if you teach an AI or whatever you want to call it to build paper clips.
Yeah.
And that's all it sees.
Right.
It's like I need to make as many paper clips as possible.
Right.
Well then let's stretch that way out to like I need to be as productive and make as many paper clips as possible. This human being is getting in my way. He's slowing me down making paper clips. I'm going to kill him so I can make more paper clips. Yeah. That's where it gets stretched out to. Yeah. I mean there's quite a few steps between making paper clips and eliminating the human race.
Losing control of a computer algorithm that you could call quote unquote intelligent because it is able to think on some level within the parameters that you have set for it. Again, like those things that that's where we're at right now. That's what exists. Right. Kind of what like are we gonna have to potentially fight those guys? Oh yeah, like if we took an artificial intelligence thing and made it in control of some cyber dogs, like from the Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
And for whatever reason and it was independent from it was its own algorithm running itself, and it somehow we gave it the wrong information or the wrong combination of information, and it happened to piece it together in a way that resulted in like, holy shit, we never predicted that. Yeah, I can see that happening, right? But where I don't see artificial intelligence going yet is that like I don't see a computer being able to come up with the theory of relativity. Like if you read Einstein and how he came up with that, like it wasn't an A to B, it wasn't a linear, it wasn't mathematics. Like right now, what computers are really good, what artificial intelligence is really good at is like computational stuff, like mathematics. But
You can't reason things out.
Yeah, that's where, that's the leap that AI would have to make to be like truly, intelligence, and not just necessarily a specific intelligence that's programmed around a specific task. And so that's where I just don't see the path of how we're going to make that leap. And again, someone may, right? But
I think it'll happen.
I don't
see how.
I don't see how. That's where I'm not as confident. I'm not looking at where things are headed now and seeing what's happening now and saying like, oh yeah, we're definitely headed in a direction where I can see this leap being made and how it might be made. I just don't. And again, like the example I always use is, if I ask you to add up 456 and 49, the way that you would do it is going to be different than like a calculator, right? And so, but the calculator is going to be quicker than you. But that's not necessarily, that's not a form of intelligence. Just because a calculator can add up like digits faster than you doesn't mean that a calculator is more intelligent than you, just in that very specific task. And so, but that's why it took a fucking computer the size of a room to outsmart, one man at chess. You can put as much fucking information as you want into it. But man, being able to synthesize that information is a completely different thing, and be able to come up with unique insights and things like that. And so that's where I just don't see where that's coming from yet. I'm not saying it can't happen, but
so then I got another question for you.
Yeah.
On the same vein. So how I think when we get, say another 30 years from now, when we're getting pretty fucking old, 70, 80 years old, 30, 40 years from now, I think the technology will be there. Like, say our knees just completely go to shit, our hips. Right now they can replace them. But I think we're going to get to the point to where we basically can have like fucking cyborg legs. Maybe not in our lifetime. Like, it might be possible when we get to that age, but you're gonna have to be like a Jeff Bezos rich motherfucker to have it. Like, it's not gonna be accessible to normal people.
Then a generation or two.
I think, man, by the time like Z gets that old, like, so let's just say 80 years from now, he'd be 85 years old. I think it'll be around that time frame, man, to where it's pretty fucking normal to where people are walking around with like fucking run instead of putting them in a wheelchair or a walker.
Yeah.
That motherfucker just got robot legs, and he's out there kicking ass.
Or just replace the joints or
that's what I think.
Whatever.
You think that's gonna happen?
I can see that because the reality is that there's no difference between a robotic limb and a human limb in the ability for the brain to control it, because it's all electrical impulses, right? I mean, our nervous system is just electrical impulses. So electrical impulses run the robotic limbs. And so it's just figuring that problem
How
out.
to connect them.
See, now
they're getting closer.
Right. See, but that's something I can see. I can see like, okay, this is where we're at. This is where the direction things have gone. This is how we're going to make that leap. I don't know exactly how that leap's going to happen, but I see that and I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm pretty fucking sure that within the next few generations, they're going to figure that problem out.
So what do you think will come first, though? Do you think old people walking around with cyborg legs, or genetic engineering is going to come first, to where we start seeing a bunch of fucking freak superhumans because people with enough money had to...
Yeah.
They could be like, okay, I want my kid to be 6'5", fucking jacked, super athlete. They check all these boxes, boom, and then they fucking pop out this kid that's just freak.
Man, that's a tough one. So
I think they're both coming.
I'm split on that one. I think how do I put it? I don't know. So unless someone comes out and says, hey, this has already been done, and I'm like, okay, well, obviously this isn't a concern, then yeah. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure you can manipulate genes and get away with it. I don't know that you can. I'm not sure, man. Nature has checks and balances. We don't know on a long enough timeline. Like, it could work, and I'm not saying it can't, but I just think that I think it's going to be one of those things that they probably figure out, and they do, and then we realize we probably
shouldn't
didn't
have done
have done that.
Yep. That's what I think.
That's what I think.
That's what I think too. I think that's going to happen. Like the cyborg limbs and the genetic engineering, I think both those things are going to happen. And I think we're going to realize that maybe they're not the cyborg limbs. I don't think that'll go too far sideways. It could.
Yeah.
It very well fucking could. But I think the genetic engineering. I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near a scientist, so I don't understand that. Just for me, fucking reading and listening, and I'm being hopeful. Like I think that's gonna happen.
We're amateur podcasters. That's it.
I think that's gonna happen. Like,
yeah.
And like I've thought about it too much to this point to where like eventually, like in sports leagues, you're gonna have like normal leagues, and then you're gonna have the genetically engineered leagues to where you got because you're not gonna be able to compete with each other.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have super freaks and you're gonna have normal humans. And then so you got all the super genes can compete in the regulars in their league, and then I don't know, it's coming.
Yeah.
But then we realize like, oh, we fucked up. There's an imbalance here.
Yeah.
And someone hits a reset button. And
if anything, I'd be more scared of the genetically engineered folk thinking that the fucking rest of us are getting in their way than artificial intelligence.
They start running things and we're slaves to them and the whole nine yards.
To me, that's more of a fucking terrifying reality than artificial intelligence getting crazy. But who knows, man? Maybe they both happen at the same time.
Both could happen at the same time. We're fucked.
And then, so like they wipe us out, and then they start fighting, and then it's AI versus the genetically engineered offspring. And then whoever wins, man, like
takes over the planet. Man.
That's our offspring. That's what humans were put here for. Was just to like set up the epic battle between robots and genetic mutants, and then for ultimate domination of the world.
And they'll probably just destroy the planet, and we'll start back at square one.
Yeah. That's right. The fucking aliens who planted us here are going to come back and be like, what the fuck, man? What did you guys do to this place? Jesus Christ, we leave it here for 10,000 years and you fucking blow the place up, man.
The super volcano under fucking Yellowstone blows and we just all reset.
It's, what was it? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, man.
Yep.
That's right. It's like, God damn it, now they got to make another Earth because we're really here to figure out the question to the ultimate answer. Because the ultimate answer is 42.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the question is yet. So
it's a good movie.
It is a good movie, man. It is. So all right. Well, anything else?
Man, it seems like there was something. Can't remember now. No, we'll call that good then.
Yeah, man. I remember being Greenfield and his coffee enemas.
Oh, what were you gonna fucking tell me that I was? You told me today after we got done training that I'm a pussy and that I need to step up.
Coffee enemas, dude.
I've considered doing it.
Okay.
I have considered doing it.
I've
considered doing a coffee enema just for material more than anything, just for podcast material. Oh yeah, I read all about. Listened to him doing that.
The visual, just. I don't know. It's an interesting visual. So
I have considered doing it.
Okay. Yeah, that was an interesting podcast too. Yeah, with old Ben. Ben's an interesting cat.
He's an interesting dude.
I mean, what he'd basically just gotten like stem cell injection or something into like every part of his body or some insane thing.
When I talk about making yourself a lab rat,
yes,
that guy has. I mean, that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
He does all this crazy extreme shit, reports on it, podcasts on it, blogs or whatever.
He gets access to just insane treatments and things that are just
that guy goes fucking deep.
Super deep, I know. Well, it's funny. I just always think of that like, somebody's hero is somebody else's pussy. You know what I mean? And it's like, for most of us, man, like when it comes to like discipline and like, bam, bam, bam. And like I said, like you got two hobbies, man. Like, like nutrition. Well, really kind of like, I don't know, life hacking, is really and
nutrition,
jiu-jitsu.
Health, and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, man. But like that's like one of your serious hobbies, and that's one of the things most of us look up to. And it's like, holy shit, dude! Like, Rob's like our hero at this. We're all like sitting here like, God damn, dude, he's
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Right. And then we look at then I'm listening to Ben, and I'm like, dude, Rob's such a pussy compared to this guy.
Near the amount of experimentation that guy does and what he does. That's another fucking level, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Another level.
Dude, he was letting. They were like fucking pumping plasma in his pecker or something
all
that
kinds
thing.
of shit, dude.
It's like, I don't know. He said he was like the first person in the world or something that they had done that level. It's like, whoa, yeah, that dude's he's committed.
Yeah.
To the process.
He's a pretty smart dude too. I mean, he's got a good podcast. He his website. I think it's just like BenGreenfieldFitness.com. He's a ton of fucking articles, man.
Yeah.
That guy writes like a motherfucker. I've learned a lot of stuff from listening to him and reading. Reading his stuff.
Sent him somebody tagged us because he had written an article on his website about. He maybe even used the term like barefoot pedaling, but he was saying because he's into barefoot training and barefoot running. And he was saying, like, he was trying to figure out now how do I apply these, like, to the bike because my, the shoes and all the stuff on with clipless pedals are just not up to it. And so his conclusion was real similar to what a lot of other, people have come to. It's like you got to do some pretty major surgery to the shoes to open them up and make them, like, more foot friendly and then really change the cleat position to make it more of a natural, like, mid-foot thing. And it's funny because all those things are what my pedal, the Catalyst pedal, solves. And that's why I call it barefoot pedaling. I actually have that URL. Somebody made a comment on his blog after he posted that article saying, like, you should check out the Catalyst pedal. It's done all, blah, blah, blah. It takes care of all the things that you're talking about. And so anyways, I went to his website and tried to contact him and say, like, hey, man, you should check out my pedals or have me on your podcast or something to talk about the whole thing. So if anyone's out there listening and has any connections with Ben, like, you can tell him I'm fucking legit. I'm not some crazy dude. But yeah, like cycling, if you do road riding or mountain biking and you're using clipless pedals, they're so unhealthy for your feet. And so, yeah, you got to figure out some solution. So go to pedalinginnovations.com, one of our sub-sponsors, and check out the Catalyst pedal. But yeah, it's the best pedal out there.
Well, and even from like my standpoint, like I'm not.
You use them for commuting.
Hey, I use them, but just from my like very novice cyclist point of view, like everything I try to do barefoot or minimalist shoes as much as possible. So if you're gonna ride a bike, why wouldn't you take that mindset over to your bike?
Yeah.
Why would you, like, because I rode with those stupid fucking clipless pedals for years. And those hard-ass plastic shoes, you jam your fucking feet in there and your feet don't move around. The bottoms of them don't move. They're just fucking solid, stiff as shit.
You get this tiny little pedal, all the pressure on your
pressure,
foot.
And you just clip into that thing. So you do that, but then you're out wearing Vibrams 5 Fingers or fucking barefoot or your sandals or what.
Yeah.
You're doing all this other barefoot shit, and then you want to go ride a bike and be healthy, but you're jamming your foot into these things.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just carry that over to your other physical activity?
That was exactly what my insight was.
It makes
for
perfect
the pedal.
fucking sense.
It makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Perfect sense when you think about it.
Yeah, just how does the human body move? And then it's really everything, right? It's not just cycling. It's like, how does the human body optimally move? And then how do you apply it to your sport? And whether, it's mountain biking and, in my case, and now jiu-jitsu, but like, that's the idea. So you need to be able to move well, and then you do your sport so you can apply that movement to the sport. But you don't want to apply, like, I don't even know what the an analogy in jiu-jitsu would be, but it would be like if someone was telling you to do something complete, like, this is how you do a trip, and then it's like, no, you want to do it this way, and it's like completely fucking opposite of how you naturally do it. It's like, well, anyways, that's a bad analogy. I'm not going to go down it. So anyways, Ben Greenfield, if you're listening for some fucking reason, or anybody who knows that guy, tell him to hit me up and I'll fix his pedals and his foot problem.
That's cool somebody, threw that up on his blog though.
Yeah, it was. But it's funny how many people our tribe likes to promote our stuff. Because, it's a great product. It's helping a lot of people. Getting people off those fucking clipless pedals.
Dude, and it makes me all I do on my mountain bike is commute and fuck around, ride from home to practice or whatever. It makes that ride so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't have those stupid ass shoes, or if I want to stop somewhere, I'm just in my regular shoes.
Yeah.
I'm not clunking around in them fucking
Feet
stupid.
are comfortable. You still got power.
Yeah.
I know it's funny.
Yeah, if you got to bail, if you're crashing, you bail, you just run off your bike and you're not running and slipping and fucking killing yourself in dumbass shoes.
Yeah, even if you're on like a fitness bike, right?
Yeah.
Like doing them. I know you got your the old Schwinn that you got from me. I think you still owe me a private for. I don't know. But anyways.
I don't know. I'm saying that crossface might have fucking. I'm looking at your face right now. I might have chipped away at that a little bit.
There you go. But I got one of those air assault bikes, and I've got those pedals on that. And I mean, you tried it. It's great because like you can literally get on it barefoot and like jam, like lay down power, stand up, and your feet are solid. You're getting your whole leg engaged. So yeah, even if you're jiu-jitsu guys, man, if you've got a air assault bike or you're doing any sort of like cycling, whether fitness indoor stuff or outdoor road or mountain biking, like get these fucking pedals. They'll be way better for your feet, and they'll help your jiu-jitsu too. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. I just got to figure out the angle on that. But
because your fucking feet get stronger and better.
Feet get stronger, yeah. Your feet aren't going to be hurting and all fucked up from being
stupid shoes.
Yeah, stupid shoes and small pedals. So
right.
All right. So now that we've turned this into a promotion for Pedaling Innovations, I guess we can wrap it up.
Should we call it a day?
Yeah, dude. So I got a BB gun I gotta go shoot.
Oh man, He's
right.
got his first BB gun.
Coach Kevin got my 5-year-old son a BB gun.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome. That's what uncles are for, bro.
Yep.
They gotta get that stuff that's like just slightly on the edge of like maybe this is too soon.
And it's what's nice is the Red Ryder, just the one pump.
Yep.
It's not the kind of
fun.
It's not the kind of BB gun where you can pump up
right.
a bunch of times. The more pump it, you get more power to it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have BB gun wars when you were a kid?
No. My parents and grandparents were honest. Like we had BB guns, but we were like, yeah, dude, that was just fucking strictly faux pas. You did not shoot those fuckers at people.
We did.
Yeah, I can see that, dude.
And we would all throw out, because we didn't have like the Red Ryder ones. We had the ones where you could pump up indefinitely until you just couldn't pump it no more. And that's fucking dangerous. So when we would set the rule, like, all right, man, we'll have BB gun wars, but you can only pump that fucker once. Yeah, right. You know how that never went down. You'd be hiding behind your fucking edge of the deck, and I'm like, I'm gonna get 5 pumps. I'm really gonna take this fucker out. So no wonder none of us lost an eye doing that or something. So dangerous.
You know what I did get into for a bit? Actually, it was a few years ago, but it was within like the last like 8-9 years. Was airsoft guns. And me and my riding crew that I rode mountain bikes with, we went through a period where, dude, you better come strapped, because a fucking airsoft war could break out at any moment. And everyone had an arsenal. They had a pistol they'd carry with them, and you had your fucking rifle and shit in the car. And someone would always up the ante, show up with an automatic, or the fucking someone would get like a sniper rifle one.
That's too funny,
dude. And somebody I think got the damn. There was a couple bike shops that we got into it. So like, yeah, it was. For a summer, man, it was fucking airsoft wars. So not quite the same as like the metal BBs, much safer. But dude, you can take some shots, and sometimes we would not always have eye protection handy. It's the same thing. You're just like,
don't get hit in the eye.
Yeah. Don't get hit in the eye. So, but anyways, kids wear eye protection.
Yeah, don't shoot BB guns at each other.
I think I ordered some eye protection, and for some reason they showed up and they had like the southern what the fuck is the
Confederate flag?
The Confederate flag on the side of them. I did not. Or you know what I mean? Like you're ordering online and it's just like they're plain goggles, right? Or the strap is plain and they're goggles.
Redneck
and
goggles.
I order them and all of a sudden they show up with the fucking Confederate flag on them. I'm like, I barely use these things, man. So, anyways,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up and enjoy the rest of our Sunday.
That's right.
And I guess we'll talk to everybody.
See you fuckers later.
That's right. See you.
Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
With a permanent rep, a hermit now, boom. Doggy stool, foggy, cool, got a froggy outside Molly, dude. Now they're calling Daisy, dude. they shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped into face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One eye always open, at times two. No clue, but soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do. To me, demon, a devil of many levels. I keep on feeding for several of them rebels. Me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I.